So before we actually go into Ticketmaster and just kind of talk about it, I'm not going to do the entire thing front to back, just because I know a lot of people are still working on it, as well as today is kind of like a free work day. So I just want to kind of go back, just show like what we've actually been doing with Django the past week. So, and building these CRUD apps. So this is an old challenge from last week called My Blog. And your intuition, I would suggest when you land on a post, like what is it? The posts URL takes you to the blog URL, URL, and then it renders this post list view, which post list, we've always been like listing out stuff. The first URL you hit, it's like a list, and your intuition might be to go into the database and grab whatever data we have there, and then render a post list, which renders all the list of stuff in the database. That's kind of what we've been doing the past week. It's kind of been doing. Even the lecture yesterday where we were grabbing addresses from the database and displaying them. And then after you're on the list, you can click on an individual item, and then it'll take you to like the post detail or like detail page of the individual item, which the URL would be like posts and like the post ID. So that's what we've been doing the past week. Been kind of ingrained in you, like that's like the repetitive thing. Make a list and create an ID or create a detail page, and that will render a detail page. But for the Ticketmaster, it's a little bit different. How many of you created a database for your Ticketmaster? Daniel?
I did.
You did? Did you feel like the need you had to do a database?
Really, but for the paths and stuff like that, I created that.
Okay. Yeah, if you felt like you needed to like create dummy data to make it work, you really didn't. So I just created this little request response flow of kind of the Django app for Ticketmaster, and let's see if dismiss. So we have our Django app that we created, and then usually in our URL we have the initial requirements is to create like a form. Let me bring up the requirements. Oh, get rid of that.
That is straight HTML.
Yeah. So where is that? I'm just trying to look up for the Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster, like release, create and capture query. So when you first come to the landing page or from the client over here, they type in whatever website, the local host, and you go to /artist search. It could be anything. In the past, it's like artist details or something, or I'm sorry, something list. A lot of people I saw like putting list just because that's what we've been using for the first landing page. But the first thing we should be rendering is a form. So from the client, they go into / something like artist search. It goes to our Django app, and then the Django app goes to a view and then renders a HTML form that brings it back to the client. And then that user has got this form, this input that has an input field and a button that submits it. And then when the user submits the form, they'll go to this like artist concerts that goes here, which will capture the query that the user input. And then right here, number 2, captures that user's input query. It parses it in some manner that will make it usable for the Ticketmaster API. Then we use a GET request to the Ticketmaster API. And then we get a JSON response. All that, if you got to that point, we get like a huge nested JSON object that gets returned to us. So we have to parse that then. It's like a huge nested JSON object to extract the location in the venues, the address, whatever you want. So in here, there might be like another method or another view method that's like get or parse, Ticketmaster API data or JSON data. It parses it, and then maybe call another, then it will make another API GET request because we have to extract the location from this Ticketmaster response. And now we have to pass that response into a GET request to the Google Maps API. And then that response will pass that into another form called like artist concerts, and then we'll render those maps to the client. Is there any question? We don't even need a database here. Any questions? Oh, there's a doggy in here. Hey, that puppy. Like any questions, comments, anything? Did anybody do anything differently?
Are you wanting the map to show 5 locations on the same map or 5 different maps?
I put at 5 different maps, but if you're able to do it all on one map, that's great on you.
Okay.
I just wanted to display I didn't even do the 5. I just displayed all of them. I got the data. I'm just display them all. Any other questions, comments?
One
Yep.
thing I would say looking at that is, let's see, when you do your form, wouldn't it, I'm looking at the numbers on there, and the one number that doesn't make sense is your request for artist concerts. That should probably be number 3.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Well, because once you submit the form, it's going to go to that URL. And then, yeah, I think you're right.
Pass it to the view, and then from the view, that's when you do the.
You're right. Yes. Okay. No, you're actually 100% correct. So yeah, like this part would be coming back. So this part would actually be like 3. And then it goes through all this API request stuff.
6, 7, 8 is when it passes it back.
Yeah.
I do want to point out something that Ethan kind of brought up yesterday, which would be a good argument for having a database on this, is you could definitely short cycle some of the API requests if you start cataloging keyword data.
Yeah, like you definitely can. And in the future, like if you were to build this out, you would more than likely hold everything in a database just for data integrity and
And just obviously just to think about how.
Yeah. But it wasn't required. So if your intuition was to like to build a database and then a model, just because that's what we've been doing the past week.
How would you actually build a database in that case? Like if you're still using like the Ticketmaster API and stuff like that. Would you just have like instead of using the Ticketmaster API, you would have your own database? Or would you
still have
that database based on?
Yeah, you parse whatever data you want from the Ticketmaster API, and then store that in the database, and then grab that data. But it wasn't necessary. Any questions?
So you'd want that. I mean, you'd want that data to persist for a time in a database. If you were to create a database and pull data from Ticketmaster, you want it to stick around for a while. But if you're constantly querying, or if you're constantly sending search requests to Ticketmaster through the API, you're getting these maps and you're storing it in a database. Is there ever a time where you want to clear that and be like, I'm done? Would you want a database on your? Where would it exist? Is my first question.
The database?
Yeah, the database. Would it exist with the user, or would it exist? Where would it exist?
It's just on the server. It doesn't have to be like
Okay.
correlated with any user or anything like that.
Okay, gotcha. It just exists.
Well, if you were pulling information from your database, is that the purpose of having databases? So somebody does a search for some concert, and they do another search again, instead of going through and stuff. But if Ticketmaster had an update on their ticket pricing or something, we would know, or if the venue changed, I mean, we would then be giving out false information. So using the database may not be advantageous.
Right. So in that case, you might have like a delayed job that runs at at midnight or 3 a.m. that makes a Ticketmaster API request and gets all that data and stores that data in the database. So you're not, so the user isn't making all those API requests, so it's just going to the database.
Cool.
Yeah, so you can make up like have delayed jobs that run at a certain time period every day that executes a piece of code that might make an API request for some information, stuff like that. All right. Let's go into this. So what do I want to do first? Django. Yeah, let's go to CD desktop. Let's create a Django. How does it Django? Django.
Django admin.
Create, what is it?
Start project.
Project. Ticketmaster. LS. There's my Ticketmaster right here. CD Ticketmaster. All right. Now let's kind of next create a virtual environment. Yeah, what is it? Python. What is it? Python. Oh, -m BNB. My brain's not working right today. All right, waiting code. All right. Ticketmaster. Now activate the virtual environment Python. What is it? BNB.
Source
Yeah,
BNB bin activate.
BNB. Hi, puppy. All right. Now, what are we gonna do? Pip install Django. Did anybody have problems using the API key? Like getting an API key from Ticketmaster? Yeah, you actually have to create an account and everything.
Yeah, we can get my free call today.
All the examples that you see for Discovery API include your API once you log in.
Yeah, that was really nice. Did everyone see that? Like once you logged in and got an API, it just auto-populated all your API key and all the requests. Like pip installed upgrade, a clear. What's next? Let's create a app. What is it? Python manage. No? It's a Django admin. What's the query to make an app? Or the command? Django admin. Hold on, I already created a project. That's what
So
this
now
is.
we need to go to Python manage.py.
Is it manage.py? Start app? Yep. Manage.py start app. It's called concerts. There's my concerts app. So here's my project, Ticketmaster. Here's my app. What's the next thing we should do?
Register your app.
So we're going to register our app into settings. What is it? Oh, God. You know why we do that? Why do we do that?
So that in the future, if somebody's adding a whole bunch of apps, let's be worried about.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah. I just do it so the next time I come along and create another app, I don't forget that specific comma. All right, let's go to URLs. What do we have to import here? Where does it go, under admin or path? Include. I'm gonna copy that. Let's do. I want to do artist search. search. And include,
Concerts.
is it just concerts.url? Concert.url. Plural, right? So I'm going to go up to the concerts, create a file, urls.py. I'm trying to copy that. I don't really need admin. I don't need to import any models or anything like that here. But I do, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So it comes into here. This is artist search. And now I'm going to do views, artist search, name, artist search. So it's coming to this URL pattern, going to artist search, it's going to this views, so probably next step would be view, def.artist search, takes in a request, that's not how you spell request. Oh, right here, yeah, what am I not importing? From dot import views, perfect, thank you. So I'm importing views so I can use views, the artist search method. So in views, where are we at? We're not passing anything here. What are we actually doing? Generate this for HTML. We're just rendering, yep, returning, render, request. What should we return?
Artist searches.
Concerts slash artist search .html. Do I need to pass in anything here? Are we passing any data or? Okay. Cool. Next step.
Make it sentence.
Make a templates folder. Templates. Concerts.
You don't need any models.
We're not creating a database. Artist. So, yeah, we're not actually saving anything in the database or anything like that. But now we can if we want to, but just for. Where are we at? So I'm gonna. What do we use? So what do we need? A form. What attributes do we need in this form? What kind of method do we want to do? We want to do a get method? Does anybody know like the benefits, drawbacks, or just like the different types of requests? Like there's the get request and a post request.
So do you want to have the information collected as part of the request, or do you want to pass it as a separate program?
Right. So in this case, let's do it as part of the request. It'd be a post request. So get request, if you want to pass in params, it's passed in via the URL. So in the actual like.
So in that case, you have to do something
Like
where you do like your slug.
like artist search slash and then like some parameter. That's where the parameters are passed in via the get request. There's some other limitations with the get request, like they don't have. There's like a max length of how, like the length of parameters, whereas like post request, get request, some new parameters. This is stupid. Parameters are passed in via the URL. There's like, I think there's a limit, like a limit to the length of parameters you pass in. But the main thing is like the parameters are passed in via the URL. Whereas a post request, the parameters are passed in the body of the request. So it's up there in the URL, like for a GET request, and then in the post request, it's all in like the body. So when we'll inspect the body of the request when we do a post request. And I think there isn't a limit to the length or how many characters or the size. Like the only limitation for the size of the request would be the limitations of the database, whatever parameters you set up that allow how big you want the request to come in. So that's just like a difference between post and GET request. So the method, I'm gonna do a post request. Whoop, what happened? And then isn't there like an action?
Yeah, it would be URL or the name of the, so.
What is it? It's the URL where I want to go to.
Concerts.
Yeah, is it concerts or is it artist search? It could actually be anything.
Isn't it under?
You can also begin by the name of it.
Yeah.
URL,
I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna hard code it right there for the time being. What else do we need? We have an input form.
Yeah.
Just copy and paste some code. We have enter artist name. We have an input. We have a type, text. We have the name. It's the artist. We're gonna do Rick Astley as a placeholder for now.
What's the difference between text and text box?
Text and text box.
I gotta use text box.
I don't know off the top of my head. Then we also need a button. Oh, stop crying over there.
Yeah, damn.
So we have a button with the type submit and it just finds concerts. Let's see if this, will this work? What is it? Python manage.py run server? Is there anything else I need to do?
It might correct about migrations for some reason, even though
Oh,
there's not
okay.
really anything.
Yeah, it still works.
I think it'll still run.
Yeah, right here. I started the server. It said you have 17 unapplied migrations. These are the already pre-created migrations like OAuth and admin and stuff like that. It's not necessary because we're not using any of that right now. But so let's just.
I like to do it just because it doesn't.
Just so you don't see that.
Just so I can quit seeing it.
What is it? Artist. So I'm coming here, artist. The search.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
So if I do like, I like to use Lady Gaga just because I know she's touring. All right, cool.
Oh.
So what does that mean? That means there's not I don't have a URL that goes to, what is it, artist list concerts? What was it?
Oh,
Artist concert list. Artist concert list. Artist concerts. And then artist concerts. Bless you. So now I need to create a, okay. Now what do I need to do? So I need to create a view called artist concerts. Actually, I don't want it to be called art. I want to call it get concerts. No, we'll do artist concerts. So derf artist concerts. Now I'm passing in a request. And normally we pass in like artist ID or something like that, but that's if we're doing a GET request. So I'm just gonna pass in here. I'm gonna print this request. All right. Where is it? Is that everything good so far? Is there anything else I need to do? So Lady Gaga. I do. What? Artist concert list.
That's
What does it say? What's that?
is that where you're
It would say requesting.
Artist concert list. Two URLs, Django admin, name is artist search. Is it because of that? Let's see. What else am I missing?
Oh,
You are
type, right?
yeah, I was wondering.
frozen. Bootstrap. Oh.
What is the browser?
URL config. Artist search, artist search. Aren't I also missing this CRF token?
Yeah, you do need that.
Absolutely. I don't think that'll actually fix it. Let's try that again. That's not what I want. Where'd it go? Where is it? Lady Gaga. Page not found. Search.
Search the artist concert.
Artist underscore. Artist concert list. Need that. Views. Artist search HTML.
You need a slash and you need that after the view.
Right here.
Yep. Front one you can get rid of, but that one has to be
Is that what it is?
there. It could be.
That's probably it. Hopefully.
I think it's 1, 2, 3, 8.
Oh, you called the URL via post, but the URL doesn't end in a slash. Can't redirect to Slack. Is it? Change your form point. Because of that.
Oh, go. Go back to the VS Code view there.
Yep.
Kill the slash thing. Is in there, and I think.
Oh, no, isn't that pulling from your templates? Because your templates has templates, concerts, artists underneath.
I think it's doubling up on the slashes because
Let's
where
do. I'm gonna change some stuff. Concert list. So I know this is gonna work. Should work. Oh, do I even need? Hold on a second.
You don't have an artist list.
Yeah, hold on. Do I even need this?
You can take out artist search and put concerts in its place.
Artists.
But yeah, your templates doesn't have artist search.
Yeah, it's looking for your concerts folder.
Is that what it is?
You might not need the slash. By taking the slash from the concept.
Hold on a second. I'm going to concerts, artist form.
What about .html on artist concert list?
Not an HTML file, we're directing to a route.
1 second. Concert list, that's fine. Views, concert list, that's fine.
Concerts, it's some. Actually, they're
Concerts, plural.
Module concerts view, concerts. Now the URL pattern, concerts list. Should be concerts.
Do you need to actually put HTML?
Or is it because there's no form yet? Yeah, that should be. Lady Gaga. Concerts, concert list.
You can actually just do the gene gen that might be easier.
Might be easier.
Yeah, that's exactly what I use.
URLs.
I mean, whatever you-
What is it?
Whatever you want to call them, whatever you named your
URL?
your URL.
Concert list?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
because you have single quotes inside.
Yeah. What is our URL or what is our view?
Just passes. If I just return. Hold on.
Maybe try to do like an HTTP response.
No, hold on a second. Concerts list. Concerts. Concert list. Concert list. So that's the URL it's going to.
You can do it inside your form action too.
Concert list.
Are you putting in your artist underscore search, or is that still?
That's why. Yeah, let's change this one. Change it to something that I know works.
So that's probably part of what it is.
Yeah.
Trying to do the artist search folder.
Concerts. Concerts URL. It's going to the URLs. Search, debug, concerts lists. It's going to the concerts.
Oh, because you have the leading slash. he thinks that's the root of the search.
So that,
That should work now.
all right, let's go back.
We're trying to go to the root directory.
Concerts, right? Lady Gaga. Okay, that's fine. That's what we want because it's not returning anything.
So now you should have-
So let's print down here. Thank you for staying with me. So we have a request. This is the request. Great. So what can we grab from here?
You can print the type.
Request. I want to grab the post. I want to grab artist. So I'm grabbing the name of the input. Let's try that again and let's print that out again. Lady Gaga. That's fine. That's expected. Request. We have Lady Gaga. Now what? So we're in here. We're in requests. So we can probably set that to a variable. Artist equals request dot post artist.
I'm gonna make it queryable.
So make like another URL or another method called def, like generate Ticketmaster URL. That really doesn't need it. It just needs to pass in an artist name. And then we do the modified artist. Modify artist equals artist dot replace. So let's actually go to the Ticketmaster API. So we've got here, we created a form, we captured the search query. Now we have to look up at the available endpoints for the API request. So I'm already logged into my user overview. Zoom out. Right here we have this list of examples. Which one do we kind of want? Get a list of all events for Adele in Canada?
Yeah.
Let's just copy that. Throw it in here. And there's a bunch of stuff in here that I don't need. So we have my API key that's already manually put in there. It also has like an attraction ID.
Which is unique to Adele.
Yeah, so I don't want that actually. Maybe but with a keyword search, that might be a little more beneficial. So let's use this one. I'm just gonna put it in there and press enter and see what comes through. So that doesn't, I mean, that's cool. I don't know. It doesn't really tell me anything because I don't know what DevJam is. And also it's got this like universe, country code, US, API key. So maybe I don't want the US code universe. I could use that. Let's actually keep that and let's search for like Lady Gaga, or is it plus Gaga? Plus Gaga. So let's get rid of this stuff then, US. There we go. So you got to kind of mess around with it. So this is what we got. We have all Lady Gaga's events. Search for events sourced by the entire universe in the, or whatever, by universe. Is that the label, I'm guessing? I don't know.
Sourced by universe. It's probably because they have different sources of the information.
Yep. Sourced by universe in the United States. So I just got rid of all that query down here. I don't need that. Country code and the universe. I just got rid of all that and just have the, like the artist So we have Lady Gaga. So we essentially have to use this keyword or as our URL. And then we have to put it into here. So wherever there's a space, we want to replace it with, whoop, what just happened?
It should.
Then we want to replace it with a plus, like that. And we have this API key where we don't necessarily want to keep it here. I'm just going to throw it up here as a variable, just for all intents and purposes. This will go somewhere else eventually.
I don't know if
Can you show us how to hide that thing? Because I've found multiple sources on that, and none of them really help me. One thing they said was to export it to a .env file.
Dot what file?
A .env file,
Okay.
variable file, and then re-import it in the settings.
Yeah, we can get into that. Let me just grab this stuff. I just want to grab this route right now and just return it, and then we'll end there. And then you guys could, hey guys, can you? I know the dogs, but can you? Where is there an error?
It's an extra. No, I don't know if it'll make you do it more, but it's an extra space after the plus.
Right here?
Yeah.
That's fine, because it's only replacing with this. Yeah, it won't throw an error, but. So API key. Okay. So right here, I just want to return this.
So in this case, would you still consider this to be a public API key?
Yeah. Modified. Let's go artist. And then here it'd be like API key. API. All right. Cool. And then up here, we want to generate like Ticketmaster URL equals generate Ticketmaster URL. So we're calling this generate Ticketmaster URL and we're passing in the artist. Passing in this artist. What else do we want? Well, eventually we're going to return render the request some concerts / artist concerts HTML, and then we're going to have to pass in some data here, which has to be a dictionary. So we have our Ticketmaster URL, but what else? So after that, we're going to have to extract. Let's just print Ticketmaster master URL, and down here with their actually. No, disregard all this right now. Because we have the Ticketmaster URL, but we actually have to do a GET request to that, right? To this actual URL to get the data. What did you guys use any external libraries to do this GET request? So what is it, like import requests?
It has to be an S.
Oh, yeah. So I have to install this, right?
Yeah.
Pip
You have to
install.
install on the server terminal. Or, well,
This is
if you're using the family, then
right. Pip install requests. Let's import as request. So it means I don't have to actually use request. I can use request. So request dot that has in this request library has a bunch of built-in methods. Ticketmaster URL. And let's print this response. Oh, where is it? Go back. Lady Gaga, fine concerts. That's fine. We're expecting that error. That's not what I want. Oh, I didn't start the server. What is it? Python run server. What port is already in use?
I guess your terminal with the server is open somewhere.
Oh, is iTerm on?
Maybe you have another Visual Studio Code window.
It looks like you got 2 terminals open.
Oh, thank you. Okay, cool.
That is not defined.
Yeah, it's fine. Actually, I'm gonna run server. Come down here. Lady Gaga. Response get request. Turn none instead of all.
200.
So it's got.
With the value of 200, meaning your request was
So it's successful. So I'm going to do that JSON. See if that works. There it is. I call this .json and invoked it. That's like an internal library in Python. And here's that entire request. Like this, but it looks like this. So let's take a 10-minute break, or be back at 10. I'm going to stop right here just so you guys kind of know how to grab the data from the Ticketmaster API. And now you can parse it, this big nested object, and grab the location. Where's the location? Anyway. Address, so we have location, we have address, Las Vegas Boulevard, you have the state, you have the city, or you have the longitude and latitude. Yeah, come back at 10, and then we'll kind of go over how to store the API keys.